Today we're going to dive into a short but just incredibly powerful poem. It's called Fear, and it's by the Nobel Prize-winning poet Gabriela Mistral. We're going to unpack the really deep, raw emotions that are beating at the heart of this classic piece.
So here it is, the poem in its entirety. And as you can see, it's just 3 short stanzas. But believe me, Mistral builds a whole world of parental anxiety in these few lines. We're going to walk through it stanza by stanza and really uncover the story she's telling.
Just the title itself really sets the stage, doesn't it? It's so simple, so direct, it's universal. Right away, it pulls us into this really intimate, vulnerable space before we've even read a single word of the poem.
So, what is this poem really getting at? Well, at its core, it's about a parent's profound, almost primal fear that their child is changing, growing up, and, inevitably growing away. It's a fear that's completely rooted in a deep, powerful, protective love.
And boom, here's the hook. The poem just opens with this really striking, kind of unusual image. The thing she's afraid of isn't some monster or some obvious danger. It's a swallow, a little bird. This tells us right from the get-go that we're dealing with a very specific, very metaphorical kind of anxiety here.
What Mistral does so brilliantly is structure this anxiety in 3 stages that just keep escalating. The poem takes us on this journey, right? It starts with the fear of a natural separation. That's the swallow. Then it moves to the social pressures of being a princess. And finally, it lands on the ultimate distance of becoming a queen. So let's start with that first fear.
Okay, so the swallow. This really represents nature just taking its course. It's the child learning to fly, leaving the nest. This is that inevitable, totally natural separation that pretty much every parent has to face at some point. And this is where you see the 2 sides of this fear. It's a real double-edged sword. It's not just a fear of her daughter flying far away, completely gone. It's also the fear that maybe she'll stay close by, but she'll become someone the mother can't take care of anymore, someone whose hair she can't even comb. So either way, that intimate, physical connection is just lost.
And then the speaker says the line again, ending the stanza. This repetition, it's not just for poetic rhythm. It feels like the sound of a worry that's just circling and circling in her mind, one that she just can't shake.
Now, in the second stanza, the fear starts to build, and it shifts. We move away from the natural world and into the world of society, because the metaphor changes from a bird to a princess.
And there it is again, that powerful refrain. I don't want them to make... But this time, the change isn't about natural growth. It's about being molded and shaped by society's expectations, by status.
These tiny golden slippers, they're the key image here. They sound beautiful, right? But they're also a kind of trap. They stop her from having that simple, joyful freedom of just playing in a meadow. And they create this social distance that means she can't sleep by her mother's side anymore. So what's the takeaway? This step up in status, it comes at the cost of both freedom and intimacy.
It's a really good question to ask ourselves, isn't it? What simple, authentic joys do we end up trading for social roles and what's expected of us? This poem seems to suggest that the price we pay is actually incredibly high.
And now we get to the climax of the poem. This is the final and honestly the most devastating fear. The transformation from a princess to a queen.
Did you catch the change in the language? And even less do I want. This isn't just another fear on the list. This is the one the speaker dreads more than anything. It's the absolute final form of separation.
The image of a throne, it's so powerful. It represents the very top. Status, power, respect. But for the speaker, for this mother, it's also the ultimate symbol of being completely and totally alone.
And this line just captures the heart of that final fear. The separation isn't just difficult anymore, it's impossible. That throne creates a gap that you just can't cross. It completely locks the mother out of her own daughter's life.
Wow. This might just be the most heartbreaking line in the entire poem. It boils everything down to losing the most basic, fundamental act of parental love and comfort. To not be able to rock your own child to sleep, that signifies a total, complete cutting of that primary bond.
So the final line is just a desperate cry. It's the absolute peak of emotion, the culmination of all that anxiety that's been building and building. It's a plea to just stop this future that looks so glorious to the outside world, but to her is just terrifying.
So as we pull back and look at the whole thing, you can see the poem is this beautiful, aching look at the tension between a parent's desperate desire to protect their child and the simple, unstoppable fact that things change and children grow.
And there you have it, the full journey of separation. It starts with the natural distance, the swallow. Then it moves into the social restrictions of being a princess. And it all ends with the absolute unreachable isolation of the queen. Each step is a deeper and more painful loss of that connection.
Which kind of leaves us with the final thought to chew on. Is this poem really about fear? Or is it actually about a love that is so incredibly profound that the very idea of change becomes the biggest fear of all? It's a powerful question, and one worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me for this one.